Hey, welcome back to the Parrotside podcast. Myself, Skills, we got man like Rose,
Yeah, it's good to be back again.
baddest guy in this entire life. Come on.
Hey, what it do? What it do?
We got a special guest in the building. Come on, introduce your guest, man.
All right, we have someone very, very special, and very close to me. I'm gonna do my best to make her uncomfortable. We have Nagina in the building.
Hi guys, nice to be here. I mean, let's see how long this lasts, but it's good so far.
We've only done the intro.
What the hell?
This is good. This is good. So on the Parasite pod, you know what it is. All three of us same primary school, just hanging out like we did in the Parasite. And so let's come hang out. So today we're talking prenups and some other relationship stuff. But we'll start from the top. So prenups, I don't know, come on, you're a lawyer. What actually is the definition of a prenup?
Like I said, I'm a lawyer. Right. Okay. So a prenup is basically like an agreement a couple enters into before they get married, and it kind of like outlines who owns what and like your obligations in if you have a divorce. So it's not enforceable in every country. but it's-
Financial obligation.
Yeah, financial obligation. So that's basically.
Wait,
it.
Nagina,
So-
you're a lawyer too, yeah?
Yep.
That's a
Girl,
nice
shit.
assist right there, you know.
I... Man, okay. So prenups, right? Are they necessary? Do they make sense? Would you get a prenup? Nagina, start us off. What you say?
Oh wow, straight into the deep end.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
you're the guest. Please go first. Yeah.
Okay, so I have been actually thinking about this for the podcast, and I don't know, I just feel like I'm kind of sitting on the fence. I agree, like there should be some sort of prenup, but then I'm like, should there really if you actually trust the other person? And because essentially, if you are going to get married, you don't think that you're going to actually end up divorcing this person. But
yes.
I feel like from a financial perspective, let me get my words out right. From a financial perspective, I think it lays like a bit of clarity and it stops, I think, feud in the future. Like if something
Yep.
does go wrong and you do end up having a divorce, I feel like it removes the bitterness that courts can bring. Because
Mhm.
would you want the courts to decide how they would split your financial assets? You'd rather do that beforehand, speak to your partner and be like, oh, this is mine, this is yours. If anything does happen in the future, we want to divide it like this. So it's a fair split, I feel like. And I think courts don't always, they wouldn't distribute the assets fairly, I think, and they'd always be bitter. And I feel like even after they're divorced, people they can still remain friends or whatever, but I think the
Mhm.
bitterness won't
Nah,
go.
they can't.
Nah, they
Uh,
can't because like in some instances they have kids together. So even if they're not friends, they have to at least be
Yeah.
cordial, you know.
Okay,
Mhm.
so Nagina, would you get a prenup? When I'm
I mean,
assuming, yeah, maybe
I
yes,
mean,
no.
I do want to protect my money. Let's not get that wrong. But I
No
feel like
surprise there.
it can cause like trust issues as well because the other person will be like, oh, if you don't trust, I mean, if you don't trust me,
Mm-hmm.
like this, if you don't trust me, wait, let me get my words out. If you trust me, why would you want a prenup? Like you'd expect that the relationship would last what
True. Yeah.
lifelong,
Yeah.
or however long they stay alive for. But I feel like it can cause issues.
Nah, it's true. I mean, because Kamal said, I think it was the last couple of episodes, last episode, he said 50% of marriages end in divorce. Now, here's the
Yep.
thing is, I feel like it's 50% now, by the way, which is interesting.
I think it might be a bit more.
It might be
Yeah,
more.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
even going up.
So that's the
It
thing.
has
And in
been
my
increasing.
opinion, by the way, Kamal, I know you said this last episode, half of those divorces, that 50%, half of that 50%, by the way, so these fucking kids. Them kids. So let's just get
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Fuck them
This
kids.
guy still has beef with these kids, bro.
Fuck them kids. But now I digress. Here's the thing. I feel like to protect your money is one thing, though. But I have a couple questions about that. My first question is: does the prenup only entail financial stuff? So, say for example, like I like slim girls, yeah. So what if I put in
Oh
the
no, we're
prenup?
not doing this again,
Okay,
bro.
okay.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No, I'm
Hey,
just
go into it. Go
asking.
into it. Uh-huh,
Like from
uh-huh.
a legal perspective, like can I then add in the prenup, like, oh, because I like slim girls, like if she gets above a certain weight, in it. Like it's not. No, is that like a thing?
No, I don't
that's
think
not a
so.
thing.
No, that's
That's
definitely
not-
not a valid clause in the
What?
prenup agreement. No.
Why not? I mean, okay. So it's just finances then. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
finances
yeah.
and yeah, basically financial assets. Yeah.
Okay. Come on. What do you think? Would you get a prenup?
Yeah, this nigga, you have issues, bro.
What do you mean?
I mean, what if your wife gets pregnant and then obviously she's gonna gain weight
Obviously,
from that?
Exact same thing I said.
different.
Exact same thing I
That's-
told. Nah, bro. When you brought this up some episodes ago, and I said this exact same
Hey,
thing.
you lot don't try
So-
flip it. Come at me, fam.
Ew.
No.
But yeah, prenups. Like honestly, for me, every time I see this thing in movies when they're about to get married and the prenup comes and this whole fight starts about how you don't trust me. Honestly, I don't. I've never understood it. I still don't understand it because for me, the law is not perfect. Every country has their own law and they made it up in whatever way they wanted to make it up, and that law is what's gonna decide how you split up your assets if you get divorced. That's and a judge who again maybe stupid as shit. So for me, it makes more sense before you get married for you guys to come together and have an arrangement on how you want to split your assets in the case of a divorce. Because whilst you might say you want to stay together, and obviously everyone wants to stay together when they get married, you have to be realistic and know it's possible that you get divorced. And I don't feel like being realistic in, and this is going to be something we talk about in a later topic as well. I don't feel like being realistic in expectations is lack of trust. I feel like it's just knowing that we might get divorced one day. We might have amicable differences that we can't resolve. And if that's the
But don't you
case,
feel like that creates like an escape path too? That's probably what like the
no,
only
but not necessarily because what's the so if you have problems in your marriage, so are you trying to tell me that because you have a prenup, you're more likely to get divorced? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what it suggests. I don't agree with that though.
But
But I
why
feel
though?
like
Why?
that's
Why?
because
So I
then you
guess
have
I mean,
for a guy, I can see that maybe.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, people who don't even have prenups end up in divorces, so I don't think that would be the
But
highest
they are
cause of
reluctant,
divorce
though. They
anyway.
are reluctant. Yeah, so
But it's
divorce
not
is
because
always
of the
going to
prenup.
be a thing. Well, yeah,
Like in
but
the
I
UK,
mean,
in the UK, prenups aren't enforceable. So for the most part,
Yeah.
anyway, prenups aren't enforceable. So and you still have 50% divorce rate in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's not
those
really
fucking
like
kids.
even if
Sorry, go on.
even if prenups make a difference in, and I'm sure there are instances where let's say a rich guy like was rich before he got married and then he starts having problems with his wife, so he's more likely to want to divorce because he knows his assets are protected. I can definitely see that in some cases, but it's such a small amount of cases that I don't think it makes a difference in the grand scale.
Right, but I mean, and I agree with you, but I feel like because okay, in this day and age, right? I mean,
Mhm.
divorce is always going to be an option. Yeah, it's more difficult if you don't have a prenup because then the assets are split maybe unevenly or whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
But then on the other hand, if you then have a prenup, I don't know, I just create this like subconscious vibe of like, you know what, like you're fucking up too much, I'm out. I know I can be out because I'm not going to lose that much. So if there's no prenup, you might now be like, oh, maybe I should just stick to this loveless marriage. That like look at Will Smith. I I don't know if they have a prenup, but I mean, let's be honest, his wife don't love him. Everybody knows that. So
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I don't think they have a prenup because it's gonna be half his shit or
But
half her shit.
she's rich as well, so I don't even
There is-
think like it'd be a half and half thing in that kind of case.
And I don't think the money will even matter to him, to be fair. He was
Honestly,
actually
yeah.
in love. I
They're
think he
both
was
rich
in
as shit.
shock. Yeah.
I'm sure Rose is
Why?
gonna tell us about how this thing is a lack of trust because I know Rose. Rose,
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 what do you
come in.
think, Ifa? What do you think?
Yeah, well, so so on the prenup level, personally, man, I don't believe in it. Like that's just me, man. Because
It's not a
Shocker.
belief system. It's just like you
Shocker.
guys.
yeah, no. Obviously, it's not a belief system. Yeah, like people go into these agreements and then like they are both aware of what they are doing. So it's not even a matter of belief system or anything. Well, I don't know, man. I still feel like, and I like something that Skills said. The fact that like, oh, they know that people know that they have this agreement, so they can always just decide that one day, man, this babe looks like the money which she done the racking is getting fat too. So let me just start messing up. So we get that divorce and whew, big cash
Oh, that's
out,
actually
carry
nice.
my guys, let's go and ball and all of that kind of stuff. So like at the end of the day, man, it can cause a level of complacency within the marriage because people now see it as okay, I can decide to, do the bare minimum, but then there's always something that I can hold on to eventually if anything happens. I know
Mhm.
people that get prenups for like uh, correct reasons and everything, but personally, I don't subscribe to it because I believe that if I'm getting married to someone, I don't have any. I don't look forward to having any divorce reason. And yeah, you might see it and like, oh, there's always a possibility and all of that, but I am not exploring that possibility. So the prenup is not for me.
Rose, do you think that someone who is staying in a relationship because of financial or whatever, or potential financial loss, staying in a marriage, don't you feel like there's already a big issue there if that's why you're staying in this marriage?
Yeah, definitely. That's always an issue because at the end of the day, like you don't get married to someone. Well, I was going to say you don't get married to someone because of the money, but we all know that that's a lie in this current climate. But like speaking on like the original foundations of marriage, like nobody gets married to someone for financial status. And like I've mentioned on the pod several times, financial situations change, they continue to
Mhm,
change. You
mhm.
could be a billionaire today, tomorrow EFCC can come and freeze all your assets and then you have nothing. So like that's just the dynamism of life, guy. So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, if you are saying that, oh, you want to marry someone because of money, and then one day EFCC decides to bust them now, and they have taken everything, take all their assets completely, and you were busy looking back at how I'm going to cash out on that prenup. At the end of the day, you look at the situation and like you have nothing, you have
yeah.
absolutely nothing. So that's why I feel like it's not a reasonable. That's why like you shouldn't even base your marriage off of anything financial.
I
Personally,
mean,
if
I
you are
will say like,
marry someone because you love them and you see a future with them, a genuine future.
yeah.
I
So
disagree actually.
Yeah, I slightly
So
disagree.
you go first then. I'll
Oh,
come after.
I disagree because if we think of it from a practical perspective, okay, yes, you're getting married because you love the other person, but love alone cannot help you survive your marriage. Obviously, you need financial means, like what are you gonna eat, what are you gonna wear, where are you gonna go? Do you have a house to live in? Like, think about if you're planning on having children, do you have the finances to actually support them, bring them up? And I feel like without that clarity or without each other knowing like oh we have set finances to actually go ahead with our marriage, and I don't think it's possible to like just base it off on love. I mean,
wait,
Right, man.
wait, Abba, come on. Let me just add to that.
mhm,
So basically, I'm not saying that like love is the only thing that can
mhm,
sustain a relationship. There are different other factors as well,
mhm,
and money is very important. But what I'm emphasizing is that financial situations change. So at the
mhm,
beginning of the relationship, you guys might have a lot of money,
mhm.
but like when you hit rock bottom, are you saying that, oh, everything is bad now,
No,
so
no, no.
I'm just going to leave?
No, I don't think that's the
Like that's
case,
that's
but
like the angle I'm coming from.
uh-huh,
That's the angle I'm coming from. I'm not saying that like money is not important. Money is
yeah,
definitely very important because like you need to take care of your home, you need to
mhm,
send your kids to school, go on family trips and all
uh-huh,
of that. But what my point emphasizes on is the fact that like financial situations, they are not fixed.
yeah,
So because
there's
like there's a lot of money here today, there's no guarantee, like there's no security that I would say that okay, this money is going to be here tomorrow
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
mm,
So like in those situations, like I believe like those situations are quite defining when you look at any relationship as well. Because another example I like to relate it to is like the workplace. As much as like we all find jobs or places of work that we are passionate about, there will definitely be times when we will face a lot of issues and all. And think of it, is it every single time that you have an issue with a job that you just leave, or you pull through and like try to overcome such challenge? And don't get me wrong, yeah, there are some jobs that people do leave, but how many jobs can you leave? Like, is it every time that an issue comes up that you're just going to pack up your bags and leave, pack up your bags and leave, pack up your
Yeah,
bags and leave on a
I'm gonna leave,
continuous
bro.
basis?
Yes, facts. I'm gonna leave. Fuck them, nigga. Fuck them.
And I'm not surprised. Excuse. I'm not
I'm
surprised.
out, nigga. I'm
Don't
out.
worry,
Don't
age
piss
43 is waiting for you.
I mean, finances is definitely a cause for divorce. Some people, if they don't have the money, they can't sustain. Like, say you can't afford to live in a house anymore. I'll have arguments with your spouse. It's a bad environment for the kids. It does lead to divorce, having like financial hardships as well.
Mhm.
But I guess.
me. Come on,
Yeah,
you were saying something before. Go on.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, well, first of all, I feel like we're overemphasizing how much of an impact prenups actually have on people just upping and leaving. I don't think it's nearly as great as we're trying to make it out to seem. But that's a different point. The only thing I was gonna say is I do have one issue with prenups though, and that's the fact that when you do get into a marriage and you have preset financial situations, a lot of your decisions when you do enter the marriage is gonna be based around your financial situation at the time, and then eventually how far you do go in your career or whatnot. So if you're making decisions based on, let's say you have 100, let me say 100,000 in the bank, or let's say 150 in the bank at the beginning of your marriage. So the things you will buy, the places you go, the career choices you will make, a lot of it revolves around how comfortable you are at the time. So now, if like your partner maybe isn't in a good financial situation in the same way you are, and your financial situation at the time affects her own decisions because she feels like you guys are one, like she's comfortable, you're in a marriage, so you're always going to be there to support her and the family. So maybe she doesn't pursue certain things or anything to that degree though that just influences her career path, and then you get divorced, and then your prenup already says that you're going to keep your assets that you had before the marriage. I feel like that then puts her at a disadvantage that she wouldn't have been in had she not been married to you. And if you did not have a prenup, she would then be entitled to, well, half your shit in most of the instances, but definitely a higher financial package than she would have been had you not had a prenup. So I do think in that instance, it's like prenups are a bit unfair.
But she
That's what I
didn't
was.
work for that money.
She didn't, but
Yeah.
her that money influenced her future decisions,
hmm
which I also think has to be taken into account.
I mean, if you think about it, sometimes in these sort of situations, like imagine the guy has more money, or even the girl, it can go either way.
Mhm.
And say, for example, the partner that you marry, they have like a bad spending habit, and you have joint accounts because you
Yeah,
don't have a prenup.
yeah,
Imagine she spends more than half your earnings or your wealth. I think it leads to a lot of debt as well. And
yeah.
then you both can have arguments over that. And I think if you set the record straight before you get married, like, that's your money, this is my money, I'll do what I want
Mhm.
with my money, you do what you want.
Facts.
I think it
Facts.
creates more financial stability as well. You learn to use your money more wisely.
How do you guys feel about joint accounts?
No.
No.
Absolutely fucking no.
I don't mind
I
having
knew it. I
joint
knew Rose would
accounts.
have mind.
I
I knew
I
fucking
don't mind
mind,
it.
man. Nah. Why do we need to join our money together? Why? No. There's
Yeah.
literally no advantage.
Tomorrow you put money in it, the next day you look at it, it's zero.
It's
Your
gone.
wife's gone and spent
Yeah.
it all.
Like, I don't want to spend her money. I feel like I'll owe
Yeah.
her. Like, no, like, nah.
Yeah, I have no use for a joint account either, so I'm just curious. But Rose, why don't you mind joint accounts? Well, I want to see what he says.
I don't think there's a big issue about it. If we're both saving up towards something, like, why not? We can create a joint account.
Like a
Or even
joint
if you want to
savings
make
account.
like,
That's different.
yeah, even if you want to
Okay.
make like financial decisions together, that we like something we want to do together, I don't see any reason in it. I said I don't see any reason. I don't see any problem with it if we can both discuss about it and all of that. And like, okay, babe, we want to save towards getting this or getting that. Okay, let's put money together and all and save up. So like, I don't see any issue with it. So,
But Rose, what happens
and
when you
like, I
vex or
believe
when she
I
vexes?
believe I also believe like it helps both couples to cultivate a bit of a saving habit as well. That's my personal belief. If you have a joint account, even if like personally, I just believe that like okay, if we have this account, we are saving towards something now. We know that every month we are putting this amount into it, so you can always set a reminder that oh okay, babe, it's the end of the month. Remember, we're putting this amount into this account.
Nah.
And like even if guy relax, relax,
go
you
on.
can do whatever you want to do with your own money,
All
guy.
right, go on.
Well, and like even if like my wife wants to come in and like take some of the money or do something and everything, like as long as we discuss about it, I don't see any reason why she can't. Because at the end of the day, it's our money. So there's no other person here that's sharing this money with us. It's ours. So like I don't you see the issue is that so many people go into this go into marriages with this adverse relationship, especially when it comes to money. I know. And
Okay,
that's
Rose.
a
Sorry, let
reason
me
why
ask you a question then. The
Rose is
money
an
that
idealist, bro.
the money
He's a
that
big
you make,
idealist.
the money that you make, Rose, is that your money or both of you guys' money?
personally
Just
I
answer
base
the question.
my marriage. Wait. I'm building up to that. Relax. I base my
Let him
own
land.
marriage
Let him land.
off. I base my own marriage principles off of Christianity. So everything I do in terms of marriage, I'm doing it according to how the Bible says it. I should do it basically. So that's me. So
That's cool.
if the Bible does say that, like when a man leaves his wife, when a man leaves his house and joins with his wife and they become one, the money is ours.
So your money is you guys' money.
Yeah, my money is our
Oh,
money.
fuck that, man. That's my bread.
And it's your
Fuck
bread
that.
now. That's how you can go ahead in your own marriage and do your bread. That's
Yo.
your
You know,
problem,
you know what's interesting? Like I agree with Rose, yeah, in the last sentiment he said, because like I said, I've said in the past episode before, even in Islam, it's the same thing. Like my money is our money, but that's the exact
it's
reason
not.
why I don't think we need a joint account. Like for that specific reason, like whatever you need, I'll give it to you. If you spend, I'll reimburse you. That's it. Like you don't need
What?
like, we
Wait,
need a
what?
joint
If
account.
she spends, you reimburse her.
Yeah, that's how it goes,
The
isn't it?
fuck are you, a bank? What's going on here?
I'm a
Yo,
I
hustler, bro.
agree with
That's how it
skills.
goes.
I
No, but
that's
actually
not how
agree
it
with
goes.
skills.
if we're
Thanks,
talking
Nagina. That's not how it
if
goes.
we're talking Islamic perspective or Christianity, I don't know what you guys do, but from an Islamic perspective, that's how it goes anyway.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
I
that
think
can be. Sorry,
equality
go on.
definitely comes in. I just
Exactly.
feel like it's not fair and it's not right. Even morally, I don't feel like it's right. I feel like you both should contribute equally. And if you spend like a
Facts.
large amount of money, spend your own money. You don't expect it from the other person would reimburse you, kind of thing.
Literally.
Nah, I disagree with
that's
that.
that's why
No.
like that's why
I
like
disagree with
the
that.
dynamisms of relationships are different. So people might be doing what skills are saying and it works clearly for them. Like they might say
Okay.
my money is my money, your money is your money. But then
Yes.
at the same time, what Kamal said, people might be doing it like, oh babe, if you buy this, no problem. Tell me how much you spent, I'll reimburse it. It all depends on the individuals as well.
No, Rose,
So
and I'm
there's
not I'm not
no
faulting that. I'm not faulting that. But what I'm saying, I understand everybody's situation is different. But what I'm saying is if you're trying to model it based on maybe how the Bible says or how it is in scripture, based on how they used to do it on those days, like that's cool. But again, I'm also here to like challenge the norm a bit of like why are we doing that solely because it says we should do that. That doesn't mean it works. I mean, so if that's the reason that a lot of people are doing it, I hope that's not why. So what, I'm just literally chilling at home. She goes to buy a bag. I'm chilling at home. She bought the bag. I have to pay her for the bag. Are you mad?
No. Listen, like there's things that she can buy with her own personal money, and that's fine. Like it's not
No,
really.
but you
It's not
just
like
said what you.
every. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like everything you. But it's not like she starts with
yeah,
50K in the bank,
exactly.
and then every time she spends that 50K is never going down. That's not what it means. I mean like when it comes to like house things or like shared assets or whatever. Those are the kind
Yeah.
of things that Islamically anyway, the onus is on the guy to provide for that. And it also depends on what kind of household you grew up in. Like for me, that's how it works here. Like anything my mom spends on the house, like my dad pays it back, and it's been like that ever since I was born. So I've seen it, it works.
I
And I
feel like
also
you
don't
guys are
think
setting your wives up for failure
Yeah, that's a
why
good
wait,
point.
how so? How so?
because you're basically promoting their spending habits. And say in the future you do end up having a divorce, like
Mhm.
what's she supposed to expect? Like, there's gonna be no one who's gonna be taking care of her. How is she gonna earn her own money if she's never experienced that with her
No, but she has her
husband?
money though. Like she'll probably work. Like she has her money. It's not
I
like she
mean,
doesn't have her money.
Oh, he's just saying like the things in the house that would
In
like
the
pertain
house,
to
like
both
house
of them.
oh,
items.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
house,
that
yeah, but
pertain to
then
both of
I
us.
think it's fair if you both equally pay for it. The financial burden shouldn't just be
Facts.
on one spouse.
That's fine if
Facts.
like some people want to operate that way. Like Rose said, every
Yeah.
like
I
marriage is
feel like it
different. Like
would
some
put
people
too
can
much
operate
strain
that.
on one person as well, just to
Nope.
carry all the burden as well.
Nope.
Facts.
I mean,
Not
you've seen it
necessarily.
work with your parents, but maybe it doesn't
Mhm.
work like that with
And
everyone.
that's what I said. Like it depends on
They're an exception.
everyone's
Yeah,
situation is
exactly.
different.
Like
No, it's not an exception. Not in
different
Nigeria
strokes,
anyway.
different folks.
In
Yeah.
Nigeria, it's definitely not an exception. Like that's definitely the norm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like if people are entitled to
Maybe
like
if
the
she's looking after your kids, like, and she actually has like 3, 4 kids, and she physically or doesn't have the time to go out and work and stuff like that, maybe then, yeah, because she isn't earning an income, you're providing for her.
no, even if she's earning an income, like honestly, it's not a big. Okay, so I feel like this comes down to how people view roles and obligations or duties in a
Mhm.
marriage. I feel like every marriage has to have roles and obligations. It doesn't have to be the traditional, like a man provides and a woman cooks. It doesn't have to be that, but there definitely has to be some sort of roles or something laid out that people can follow and know what's expected of them in a marriage. I don't think anything can be equal. Like the idea of everything being equal, you cook today, I cook tomorrow, you clean today, I clean tomorrow, I spend today, I don't think that works.
Definitely. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
like,
honestly don't think that
people
works.
expect, like, let's say, like, in cultures or people that are quite backward still, and they follow
Mhm.
that sort of stuff, they'd expect, oh, my wife needs to cook, clean, do everything every single day without the man actually doing anything, because they're like, oh,
Mhm.
the man's like financially responsible for the house. I don't think that's fair either, because actually being a home, what do you call it, a housewife or a house husband is equally as hard as going out and working.
Yeah,
True. Yeah.
precisely that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and you
that's
can't be your
why in
wife's
those
personal ATM machine.
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's why in those kind of relationships. So like you said, being a housewife or being in charge of the home is just as hard as going outside and making money. So that's why one person has one, the other person has the other. Like that's just kind of how it works. Just split equally. So everyone has their own obligations. So that's why I said it depends on what the couple wants to do, like what works for them. Because some people don't like cleaning, some people don't like cooking, some husbands like cooking. And I don't personally, I don't see myself in a household where I just don't cook, where I don't clean, because like that's not what I want. Even though some people may think that's mad
I want
in
to be
Nigeria.
fed. I want to be
Yeah,
fed. I don't want to
you want to
cook
be
all the
fed.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I said, like because I like my food, so sometimes I want to cook. So I'll cook sometimes. She'll cook sometimes. But
But
honestly,
what if
I'm
she
not
don't like
going.
your food? Now you're just gonna cook for
Then
yourself?
that's
You know?
fine. If she doesn't like my food, then she'll cook her food in it. Like you don't have to eat my food. But yeah, like I planning for a marriage right now. I'm not planning for a marriage with the expectation that my wife is going to go 50-50 on bills. It's just not realistic in this country.
I am.
It's not. It's yeah. You,
Fuck
yo,
that.
bro.
I
Yeah,
am.
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna stay in the US, maybe. But if you're coming back here,
Can I
boy,
ask a
you're gonna
question?
need to change that shit. Yeah,
Go on.
Does Rose have a girlfriend?
Yeah,
yeah.
he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
do.
no wonder his answers are so safe. I was wondering why he's playing it so safe.
Man has to be politically correct.
No, but that's how he is, though. That's how he is. Yeah, that's actually
No
how he
wonder.
is.
Now I understand your answers. They make
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Alright, so no, so that's good. Though. That's good. So I guess in addition to like marriage and stuff like that, because like they always say, right, you have to marry the one in quotes. So I guess the question here we're here to ask is there a the one? Is there a soulmate for everyone? Is there like a match made, in the high heavens for each and every person?
Yeah.
A lot of people would argue yes. Some people would argue no. But I think a lot of these things that we've already talked about kind of come into play, like
Yeah.
relationship dynamics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nagina, what do you think? Start us off. Is there the
I
one?
mean,
What do you think?
me, because obviously I'm Muslim, so Islamically, yes, I do believe there is a one, because
What you
it's
mean
like
Islamically?
Islamically it's written that your soulmate's actually written before you enter this world,
Oh
and they
yeah.
and
Okay.
and
Wow, wait.
Because that's different from the like common understanding. I just wanted to
yeah.
like understand
So
what she
they
meant first.
say that your soulmate's already written before you actually enter this world, and if you do meet your soulmate in this world, you will actually live a very happy life. And if you don't meet your soulmate and you get married to someone else, then you will live a very miserable life. So I believe there is a soulmate, but it purely depends on your own choices, what choices you make in life. Like you could have missed the opportunity of marrying your soulmate depending on certain circumstances. And then, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I personally just believe that there is the one.
So ideally, everyone would want to end up with their soulmates. But from what you've just said, how would you know that person is your soulmate then?
I mean, I think it's just a gamble because you never know. You would never know if that person's actually your soulmate unless you actually get married to them. And
Okay,
you do.
let me say something controversial then, because a lot of times, people only want to marry within their tribe or within their religion, right? And I've seen, a lot of Muslim guys. Sometimes they get married to, non-Muslim girls, but oftentimes they get married to Muslim girls. But most Muslim girls only really get married to Muslim guys that I've seen. So if we're not really looking far and wide, then how are you supposed to find this soulmate? Like for just not like any tribe, any religion, do you know what I'm saying? Like your soulmate could be in fucking Korea or something, right? Like how are you supposed to know? So if we're only looking within a certain area or a certain religion, certain tribe, and we're like, oh, there is a soulmate for sure, but I'm only going to look here and find. But we don't know though.
That's right. I think what you're saying is a valid point, definitely. But I don't know. You said looking. There's sometimes you don't even have to be looking, and someone just enters your life, and you're like, okay, this is the right person for me, and then you just go ahead, etc., get married, whatnot. But I feel like looking is probably the wrong word. I feel like if anything happens, it will naturally happen, unless obviously you're looking for an arranged marriage. Then you're definitely going to be out looking for people and seeing, oh, is this person right for me or not? But I personally believe like the natural way, if someone's going to enter your life, it will just happen.
Okay. Come on, what you say? I still have a lot to say, by the way, but go on.
I have a lot to say as well, actually.
Go on.
Okay, so for me, I think we need to first preference what we mean by the one. Because if like we're talking about someone you fall in love with who is perfect for you and whom you will never find again in the future, I don't necessarily believe that, like at least on a wide enough scale, I don't believe that's like a practical concept. I actually think, this might even be controversial, I don't know, but I think that concept is actually kind of dangerous, to be fair. Like,
okay.
I feel like a lot of people enter marriages or relationships with the expectation that it's going to be seamless because they found a soulmate, in quotes, who is perfect for them, right? But in reality, like passionate love, which is what most people base this soulmate thing on, it kind of fades. It fades very quickly in a marriage anyway. And I'm assuming this is a marriage, by the way, not just a relationship.
Yeah.
But like there's something people call compassionate love, which is obviously working through your problems and nurturing your marriage and whatnot. Like I feel like if people were willing to put in all the sacrifices and forgiveness and teamwork that goes into a successful marriage, then that has a bigger prospect of working. So in a sense, you don't necessarily find the one in the way like movies make it out to be. But I mean, because I mean, most people would have been in multiple relationships before settling and probably thought they found the one each time. But I do think you can work towards like building a relationship with someone who can be your one, even if it's not the one that all these movies make it out to seem. So with that in mind, I also think you can have multiple the ones or whatever. Because there's many people in happy relationships
Man
who
said
would
the three, Okay.
Yeah. Because like I said, there's many people in
He's
happy
allowed 4
relationships.
wives.
Exactly, there's that too. But like, yeah, many people in happy relationships who would acknowledge that even though they have a partner right now, they may have an ex in their life who they loved more than the actual partner. And for me, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't love your partner or you're not happy in your current relationship. But like, you can still love your ex more than your current partner.
I don't agree with that.
Well, if you love someone more.
You cannot love your ex more than your current. That's a huge problem.
Then you wouldn't even get married, yeah.
Nah, you definitely
can. Huge problem.
Because
you
I actually looked this up. No, but you definitely can. Like you can, because obviously there's many reasons why you may love. If you had a partner before and then your partner passes away and you get married again, like you may not necessarily love your new partner as much as you loved your old partner, but you can still love your new partner.
But they're dead, so that's different.
No, but it can be different because to say you can't do it means you can't do it. Like it's either black and white, but you can definitely do it. That's what I'm trying to say. You can definitely do it. Right?
I mean, wouldn't that just cause so much comparison? And
Yeah, like,
it caused a lot of
No,
issues in the
it doesn't have
relationships as
to.
well.
Like, honestly, don't think it has to, because
I mean,
this
just don't
cons.
get married if that's the case. Because if you don't love your
facts,
partner
if you're
enough
not ready,
to be
yeah,
No,
with
like,
but
them, you would have just
wait,
married your ex.
no, but this is something different. I'm not saying you don't love your partner. I'm saying you
Mhm.
can love your ex more than you love your current partner. That definitely happens. And I've even
nah.
looked. I looked it up before.
No, I'm
I
not saying
actually
it
looked
doesn't
it up.
happen. It's
Yeah, but it's
possible and you can, but you
yeah,
shouldn't do that.
yeah. You shouldn't, definitely
So
not.
okay, so you guys are saying if
Very
you
unhealthy.
if you loved your ex, and there's
Yeah.
many reasons why people break up, right? You
Yeah.
can love your ex, but that ex can be toxic as fuck for you. We can acknowledge that, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me that you should force a marriage with someone that you know is terrible for you because you love them. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
don't marry them,
No, no, no,
but
So what
no.
are
wait
we
until
saying?
you get over them
Yes.
before you marry someone else. Because
Fact.
if you're in a new marriage thinking about your ex, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No. Okay, you guys, I think you guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying. Do you
Now I
think,
get
okay,
exactly what you're saying.
let me phrase it differently, or let me ask you a question then. Do you think if you've loved someone
Mm-hmm.
for like 10 years, or you've been in a marriage for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and your partner passes away, and then you find someone, let's say
Mhm.
5 years later, and
Mhm.
you genuinely fall in love with that person, are you
Mhm.
saying just because you fall in love with this person, that means you can know? Okay, I guess there's a different way to phrase this. Do you think you can love two people at once? I think that's maybe the better way to phrase this.
I mean, I've seen it. It's possible, but I feel like each type of love is different. Like the way you love your mom is
Exactly.
different. The way
No,
you
no,
love
not
your
even
ex
your
is
mom. Two
different too.
partners at once. Can you
Yeah.
love two partners at once? Two
No, I'm
people at
saying
once.
yes, you can maybe. Yeah, you can, but obviously for each person you have a different type of love. If you love them both the same, then you'd only be in love with one person.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to get
I
at.
feel like the
Like
love
you can
won't
definitely
be the
love two people
same.
at once.
It won't be the same though.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It won't be the same. And I'm saying the one that was in your past, you can love more than your current one. Like even if it's a different kind of love, or maybe you
Well,
prefer
why
that
does it
kind of
have to
love. I
be
don't know.
more or less?
It doesn't have to be, but I'm
Like,
saying it's possible. This is not even the main point I'm even trying to make.
It's not even
Like
the
you
main-
guys have
yeah,
just
yeah, it's not even the main point. I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
on.
like you guys have just got this one aspect of, and you guys have really acknowledged that it's possible to love multiple people. So I don't know why we're going on about this, but
I get into the main beef. Get into the one. Go
I can't even remember where I was anymore.
on.
Well, I'll just summarize, man. I think I have more of an issue with like the terminology of the one, because I think like people go into relationships with unrealistic expectations that because you found your soulmate or someone that you connect with, then things are going to be easy, and that's not necessarily the case. Because even if you find someone that you connect with a lot, like there's still a lot of work that goes into making a marriage or a relationship work. So, and at the same time, I won't rule out the one in the way Nagina said at the beginning, like there's just someone that was pre-made for you. I won't rule that out, but I do think it's a very small proportion of the population that ever find that person. So I might as well rule it out. It's just not like realistic enough
it's a
on a wide.
fantasy.
Sorry?
Like practically, it's
Yeah,
a
practically
fantasy.
speaking. Yeah, practically speaking, it's a fantasy. So I think couples can work towards making their partners the one if they're realistic enough about the work that goes into having a successful marriage. But truthfully, man, for me, like this terminology of the one, I wish people just stopped using it and all these movies stopped doing it, because I feel like you need to experience relationships for what they are and put the work in order for it to be successful instead of having this fantasy idea of what the one looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Some people base their relationships off movies. Can you believe it? Honestly, I think it's so toxic.
Yeah, I mean, but this is part of the thing, because we have this like this is the one, almost every romantic movie you watch, like this shit comes
Yeah.
up. And this is the one thing, like, how many people do you know, friends, like your own personal friends, that they're in a relationship and then they be like, yo, I think she's the one, Then
It's
two
never
months
happy days. There's
Oh,
always
I've
like
actually
some
met
sort of
one guy like
problem.
that. Though.
yeah, 2 months later they break up. I'm like, bro, like this shit ain't realistic. But yeah,
Let me go off. But feel free to cut me off. Feel free to cut me
Mhm.
off. All right. Now here's the thing. Is there a the one? Like, is there a match made for you? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. But there's no scientific proof. Therefore, we can just rule it out. I do believe there are definitely people more suited to each other than others,
Yeah.
which is mad because when you get married, you can always then meet another person that is not only penga, but like you can vibe easily with that. You guys
Yeah.
are definitely more suited to
What's
each
suited?
other.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But the problem is, too many people force it and they claim,
Mhm.
oh, this is my one. Because,
Mhm.
I mean, I'll be honest, everybody's different. Me personally, I like understanding, I like peace. Yeah,
Mhm.
so with a soulmate, it means you're mostly on the same page. Because I know these new niggas come in here be like, oh no, we're opposites. Opposites attract. Nigga, you're not a magnet. That makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, so I have to call out society on this one as well because we live in a society where there's pressure on these young girls to get married. There's pressure on them to want to have that dream wedding, fucking
Yeah, yeah.
Cinderella and whatever.
Mhm,
If you look at
mhm,
shows like How I Met Your Mother, an outstanding show by the way, but
mhm.
that's not really how it would go down in real
Yeah,
life. The
yeah.
problem is because there's pressure on these girls in modern day society, it then forces them to overlook certain things that they want that they don't like and then claim this is my one. So after the marriage then starts and they'll be like, oh, he doesn't wash the dishes. This nigga never washed the dishes in the first place. But you were too busy because you guys were
Focusing on
listening and
other
doing
things.
other things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, so that's part of the problem as well. Now, in addition to that, when you find your one or the person you feel like, okay, this is the one for me, let me just call out my ex for no reason. But listen, you have to like when you if you like somebody, yeah, when the relationship then starts or the marriage starts, you cannot now come to be like, oh, I don't like this about you. Can you like the dishes example? Because that defeats the purpose of finding your one. I mean, like literally, like my ex, she was like, oh, true story, by the way. She was like, oh, I started liking you because like, oh, you were like slightly mean and a bit of a dickhead. And I was like, okay, well, I wasn't trying to be that,
That's just
but
who you are.
that's just I try my best every day. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? And then now the relationship starts, and you're like, oh, why aren't you nice to me? Why aren't you showing me public affection? And I'm like, nigga, but you
Yeah.
just said. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. So you cannot now, and that's a whole other conversation. Is when the relationship starts. For me, though, for me personally, and it might sound a bit petty, but if you try and change things about the other person, even the simple things like, oh, show me public affection, or oh, wash the dishes. Well, we weren't doing that before. Do you know what I mean? So if you're trying to change people, like small changes, then surely that's not your one. And I understand nothing is perfect in this life, but the things that you would have to adjust have to be very, very small. That's what dating is for. But the problem is when people start dating and they find out that they don't like certain things, they don't want to pull out because they've already started lipsing and doing other things. You hear me? So that's part of the problem. So society is an issue for sure. You have to try your best to be yourself in any build up to a relationship or marriage. Not that when
Yeah,
the thing
that's very
starts.
important, man.
Exactly, because the person you are at that time, I'll think that's who you are forever. And then we
Yeah.
get into a ship, and then all of a sudden, I don't know. I feel like if the one is not just physical, like, but there has to be a skill somewhere, though. Does that mean that the person does everything the way it suits you? And if they don't, what if like it's one of those ones where like the person is like real close, maybe out of 10 qualities that you want, she's like 9. Like then what? Are you going to then not agree and then find the 10? Or are you just going to be content? You know what I mean? So
Like, where do
I
you
don't
draw
know.
the line, right?
Where do you draw the line? Exactly. So I don't know. I feel like, in this society, y'all gotta stop acting like it's a movie. You know what I mean? Life is not like that.
I
Like,
think it's like even to add to that, right? When we mentioned like the 50% divorce rate earlier, how many of those do you think thought they were marrying the one at the point of marriage? Out of those,
Probably
out of
none of them.
100% of people, like most of them, right?
Yeah.
And then they still end up getting divorced. So like,
well,
I
that
don't
one's different. That
really.
one's called just fucking kids. So that one's a whole
Nah,
other one.
I mean, you think kids cause divorce?
They could, yeah. Yeah.
It's a
But is that the
possibility,
main reason for
definitely.
divorce?
That's
I
not the
mean,
main reason.
if you think about it, some parents like would want a better future for their kids, and they'd be like, "Oh, that my kids can't have a good future with my current spouse." So yeah, maybe that could cause divorce.
I feel like that's on you, bro. You kind of have to know if if your spouse is capable of raising your kids and then like before you got
No,
married.
obviously circumstances change, people change over time,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I guess so, yeah.
situations.
That's fair.
Okay.
Rose.
Now listening to skills waffle as usual.
I'm waffling.
Yeah,
Rose, like I
Okay.
said,
this guy is not made for love at all,
It's not about
man.
being. What do
okay,
you mean
so I
made
want
for
to hear
love?
how he's
No,
gonna
I'm
tell
just
us.
saying let's not pretend. That's all I'm saying.
Personally, I kind of agree with you guys. I don't believe that there's the one.
Ah, we thank God.
Literally,
Personally,
on the same page. Okay.
what I believe is that you build your relationship into you guys being the one for each other.
Yeah.
Personally,
Which is what I
because
Nah.
at the end of the day, guy, please, I beg. We
I'm
heard
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry.
We
I'm sorry.
heard you loud and clear.
I'm sorry.
We heard you loud and clear. We know that you're not a fan of these things. So Just relax, man. Relax first.
Go on, go on, go on.
Like personally, I believe that you guys can build yourself because what is one of the things about relationships, one of the beauty about relationship is that like you guys help each other to grow. I know
Uh-huh.
acknowledging that you have shortcomings, that things will not always be rosy, but
Uh-huh.
deciding to put in the effort and saying that like even though like these things, and that's pretty much part of like what marriage vows emphasize on, that for better, for worse, for riches and health. I know, but don't get me wrong. Again, like just like Kamal emphasized, like a lot of marriages still end up in divorce. But like the main thing is that there's no the one, there's no special person that you come and say that, oh, this is the person that like, oh, was made for me and all of that. Like I just feel like it all boils down to having that mutually exclusive relationship where you guys actually do the work, put in the effort. I believe that the one that people always emphasize on is pretty much the effort that you guys put into that relationship. Nobody just comes and all of a sudden like this person is the one for you, and when you now get into the relationship, there's no effort, there's no zeal, there's no motivation. Everybody's just sitting back, just relaxing and everything, not putting in any effort into the relationship. So personally, I don't feel like there's the one for me. Because what if the person that you claim to be the one, because you know how they say people fall in love at first sight, people
Mhm.
pray and believe that like, oh, they are spouses for them and all of that, and you're like, oh, you go ahead and set the P. What if you collect L? So what happened now? That means the one has become zero, man. So
Mhm.
you went from one back to zero, man. So none of that, man. None of that. I don't believe
Wait,
there's
Rose,
the
sorry.
one.
Let me
Yeah.
rebuttal one of your points. So you said something about the one, and having to put in effort. Now, if you find one that you think is the one, it doesn't mean you don't have to put like there's still going to be effort because a relationship,
Mm.
anyways. But putting in effort is different from stress. I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know what he meant though.
okay, I'm just clarifying. I'm just clarifying. I'm just clarifying.
This guy
I'm
is being
just
annoying for
clarifying.
no reason.
No, I still have one more point. But Rose,
All
finish,
right, what's
finish.
your? I think it's done.
Oh, it's okay. Now,
Nah, I need to go off on this skills
All
guy,
right,
no,
go
man.
no,
on,
hold on,
go
Because
hold
on,
on, hold on,
go
hold
on.
on.
if the world was left to skills, man, this guy put zero effort in relationship. Take.
No, I
Bring me
wouldn't
that
do that.
pounded yam this morning,
I wouldn't do that, dude.
guy. That's cap.
Guys,
That's absolutely
No, I
cap,
wouldn't
guy.
do that. Now listen, let me explain. Let me learn. Let me
explain,
learn.
explain.
I feel like my idea of a good relationship, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not saying there would not be effort, but there is no stress. That's the point. So that whole
Define
thing,
stress though. Do you mean like
So wait,
like?
yeah,
Do you mean like
exactly.
you'd
Define
never be
stress.
stressed, or do you mean like in general you won't
You mean
be?
like you never face any issues? There won't be any challenges at all.
there will be
Nothing's
challenges.
perfect.
Like, what do you mean first?
Yeah, there will be challenges. Nothing is
Yeah,
perfect,
that's
but
what.
like the challenges don't have to be like that deep. Like it's a marriage. You know, there are ones where like you see marriages and like the guy is like afraid to go home because like, oh, an argument is going to start. Like we can't
Okay,
be
yeah,
having
that's
that
what I
kind,
thought you meant.
yeah,
So,
that
yeah,
stress, yeah, something like
yeah.
that.
Carry on.
I mean, so that whole thing, like Rose said, for example, building each other up for each other, that doesn't what does that don't make no sense because you're independent people coming together. So if you're building yourselves up for each other,
Skills. Let me ask. Skills. Let
this
me
ain't
ask you a
Tetris,
question.
my nigga.
Let me ask you a
Mm,
question.
mhm.
Your current state in this life, is it not as a result of your conscious effort in addition to the efforts of the people around you?
Uh-huh.
Skills is about to
So
destroy you here.
now, can we conclude that these people have been part of your building process to exactly where you are?
Sure.
Case in point.
Nah,
I've said
but that's cap because that's
Wait, nah,
different.
skills. Let's be real though. Like, are you saying that your partner is not gonna have any impact on how you grow? Because you're gonna get married at what? Let's say you get married
No,
at
no, 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 no.
28.
And I agree with
So,
you. No, no,
so
no.
exactly. So what are you trying to
No, you're
say?
not.
I feel
But
like the issue is his previous partner has just scarred him.
They're
Dude,
just
that's not
scarred.
what that is. Wait, let me learn.
Literally, I think
No,
that's what it is.
Skills is broken, bro. Skills is broken.
No,
You're
this is
not.
how he is.
No,
Guys.
wait. When you're married and you start to live with each other, obviously you grow accustomed to each other. And I agree with that. That obviously has to happen. But you're not going in there to customize for them. That's not what it's
No,
just
you
happened
kind of have
naturally.
to do. Yeah, there's
You have
compromises
to
that have to
go
happen.
in
I guess.
as an independent individual first. You have to be able to organize. You have to know who you are before you go and start
Yeah. You know
merging
who
with
you
other
are.
people. Yeah, before you start merging with other people. That's
But
what I'm
it
saying.
feels like if you're moving into a house with someone you've never lived with before, and you guys are now like an item or whatever you guys want to
Yeah.
phrase it like,
Mhm.
there's no way there aren't sacrifices and compromises that have to be had because these people are, like you said, you're two
Of course.
independent people.
Of
Exactly.
course,
So
yeah.
if you're two independent people trying to live as one, you're definitely
Mhm.
gonna have to make some compromises here and there.
Yeah, no, I know, and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is,
Okay.
it's not. If you've known the person and it is in quotes the right person, it wouldn't then have to be suddenly like different. It wouldn't then have to be something like, oh wow, like you shouldn't be extremely shocked at anything you see. Is what I'm saying.
Actually, I'm curious about something else. I think I might have asked you guys on the group before. I'm not even sure. But like, I went out with my friends some weeks ago, right? And they were talking about um, when you get married, if your wife has male friends or close male friends, are you guys okay with them still being close? Because these guys looked at me like I was mad, right? Because I personally, I think I may have told you guys, I don't know. I personally don't have like an issue with my wife as having male friends. Like I can get to know them, we can be cool. Like for me, it's not like a big deal for my wife
like
to
a
have
close friend
male.
though.
But that's the thing when we say, because my personal thing is
Nah, the answer is no.
if you had this friend for like 10 years, 15 years before you even met me. Nothing ever happened. This guy doesn't, you have no feelings for him, nothing. And then you meet me, we enter a relationship, whatever, we get married.
Mhm.
If nothing happened between you guys throughout that time, right? I have less
Mhm.
of a reason to think suddenly it will happen just because you're married. That's one thing. But the other thing is, when you
Okay.
guys talk about trust and trusting your partner and whatnot, where does that come in that aspect? Because if you feel like maybe she's around a guy, she's just gonna cheat on you, then where the fuck is the trust?
No, it's not necessarily about the
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
there, but there's a level to closeness though. If
So
she's
okay,
not
so what's
married
too
to
close for
you,
you?
no, I
What's
don't
too
know.
close?
If say you're chilling at home, all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I'm going to this guy's house." No, the fuck you're not.
No.
Like,
Okay, obviously you have to behave yourself. There's obvious there's obvious things you
Yes.
have to do that.
No,
You
this
can't be a
is
married woman going to an unmarried guy's house at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. You can't do that, obviously.
exactly.
no, but that's what I'm saying. If they should not
Yeah,
claim
but like,
that, I
okay,
don't know.
if she wants to meet for lunch, can she do that?
I mean, yeah, I don't want to police what she can't do. I mean, like she can go
Are you
off
comfortable? Are you comfortable with that? That's the
lunch.
bigger.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Are you
He's not.
comfortable? With
He's
it?
No, I
not.
am.
He's not.
I am.
This guy is definitely not. Yeah, you're a
Skills
liar.
capping for the pod.
Come on, I agree with you. Like, if you guys were friends before, like, just maintain the friendship, but there must be boundaries. Like you
There's no
said, you
boundaries,
can't be
yeah.
calling. Yeah, definitely, you have to set boundaries. As
It's
to,
not like you just like remove them from your life.
yeah, exactly. But then again, there's that very thin line as well from setting boundaries and becoming what's the word I'm looking for? Like trying to separate your spouse from their own friends and isolate them. I know, which is what a
Yeah.
lot
A lot of men do.
and very,
A
very
lot of the guys
dangerous.
do that shit. Yeah.
Because once they now done that and your friends don't have access to you, that's when they start the abuse. I know.
Manipulation.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
So
agree with you, lot, but I'll go after
Ooh,
Nagina.
wait. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't agree first?
Wait, let Nagina say her thoughts first.
No. Because this is like,
Oh, you want me to go now?
you're trying to get us cancelled every week. I want to know what you mean first.
Wait, here's the thing, right? Why I don't know why y'all trying to pretend like see it doesn't matter how long they've been friends because
Actually, wait. Let's clarify Rose's point first. He's saying
Okay.
that a lot of guys try to isolate their partners and try to restrict them from having access to their friends because they're now married. So that just to clarify, that's what you said you don't agree with. So continue.
No, not that particular part. I'm not trying to
Okay.
isolate anyone. I'm just talking about like in general. Yeah.
Okay.
So like in general, I'm saying it's a problem regardless. If she has a close guy friend and they've been friends for 10 years and nothing has ever happened. Yeah, from her side, I don't know what this
You don't
motherfucker is
trust the guy,
thinking.
basically. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't trust
that's
the guy.
that. And
I
then
get that. I
one,
get that.
that closeness, they have to calm down. Like they have to. No, because
That's what I
let's be
said.
honest.
Boundaries now.
Yeah, because if there's a problem in your relationship, who's she gonna tell? That guy. Who's going to comfort that guy? And because they're both straight, there's always a chance that something might happen. There's no need for that. No need for that. Therefore, you can't be close to this guy anymore. At least you should know that. I would assume she would have the initiative to understand that you can't be doing that. Yeah, I mean, like it doesn't.
So that can be your boundary then. That can be a boundary. Like if you have issues, like it's not like you go to him and he's the one that'll comfort you. Maybe you go to one of your female friends. That can be like an example of a boundary.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right, Nagina, you can go now.
Okay, so I hope you guys are talking from the perspective of both genders, because it does
Yeah.
go both ways. Like males having female friends as well after marriage. But I think I agree with all of you a little bit. Like in terms of what Skills said, 100%. Like if that was the case this way, like it would make you uncomfortable. Like why are you just going to chill with this your guy friend on your own or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
like alone as well? It's gonna make you jealous. You're gonna be insecure. Like that's a given fact. Even girls, like, would you be okay having a female friend and your wife, you expect your wife to be okay with it? I don't think she'd be okay with it. But I think you just need to set ground rules and boundaries. I think it is definitely healthy having friends, male or female, whoever you're close with. I mean, if we take the point of the 10 years one as well, if you've been friends for 10 years and nothing's happened, what would make you think like, oh, now she's married or taken, something's definitely going to happen? I don't think so. But
Well, now
obviously,
she's married still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me even like add to that, like exactly the conversation we had at the time. Because like I said, these people thought I was fucking crazy. Like, because there were like 8 of us, and I was the only one that held this position. When Skills was talking earlier about changing someone, and I feel like your friends, your close friends, or whatever, is a big part of who someone is. I don't feel like it makes sense for you to just suddenly get married to someone and just remove such a big part of
Not
someone's
remove,
life.
but you have to heavily downplay.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about what they were saying. They were saying remove.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
like they were like completely like, nah, you can't have any male friends if you're married to someone. And then I was like, okay, but why can't you have like some sort of compromise? For example, if she has male friends or a male friend that she's close to, you guys can organize like a joint dinner. Like you guys can go, like she can bring a date or whatever. You can
double
have it like,
dates.
yeah,
I don't
like
want to
there's
meet
so
that
many
nigga.
things. No, nah, okay, I do. Personally, I do. Like I
Okay.
would prefer to know who he is, what he's
Mhm.
like, just to have that extra level of comfort to know, okay, like he's chill. But also there's also the fact that okay, you might meet one that you're unsure of, and then this is where you have to be honest with yourself. Like, are you just insecure, or do you genuinely think this guy is a problem? Because it is very possible that you can meet a guy and you think, okay, look, this guy actually has feelings for her, and then you tell her and she may not agree with you or whatever. That's where issues come, I feel, because she's gonna say like, nah, he's cool, but you have that inkling. But generally for me, like, let me meet him, see what he's like. If he's really close to you, we can always organize ways to make it work, even if it's like, because people aren't cool with like a guy just coming to your house. I don't have a problem if I'm there. Like, are you gonna do something with my wife when I'm right there? Like, you're not. Like, there's so many ways you can make it work, in my opinion. But like, I feel like this generation, people are
Wait,
so
so you'd
scared.
be there and then she's hanging out with him and you're there?
Yeah, I'm there. Like, what's there? Like,
Nah, that's kind of weird still.
why is that weird to you though?
You all are
Because
hanging out together.
You're all
no,
there.
but
Like,
you're
you're
not
all
his
there.
friend. He don't know you like that. You don't know
Yeah,
him.
but she's her friend and she's close to him, or he's close to her rather. And what I'm
Yeah,
saying
not
is,
you.
because you're married, you have to have boundaries. Like, that's for sure. You have to have boundaries. But now that you have boundaries, what compromises can you make so that she's still fine or she's still comfortable and you're not just ripping a big part of her life out of her? And that's what I'm saying. These are some of the things you could do to make her at least feel a bit more comfortable. It doesn't mean like he's gonna be at your house every day or every week or every month even, but like every now and then, like if you guys don't want to go for dinner or something, like, yeah, and if you guys just want to chill at home, you can have like a barbecue. You can, like, so many shit you can do where you're there, she's there, he's there, and you know nothing's gonna happen, even if you're like hella insecure.
I mean, can I add something to that?
Yeah.
I don't think that would even be a big issue after marriage, because if you think about it realistically, when you're married, you get busy with your own life or your work life, your husband, etc. It's just like how we were at uni. We had so much time to speak to our friends, chill with our friends, but then you're working. Where do you find the time, the balance, everything?
Exactly. You don't have a lot of
It
time
would
for
just be so rarely that I don't even think it would have an impact on your personal relationship, because it's not like you're going to chill with them every single night you come back
Yeah,
from work.
exactly.
Like, who's got the energy?
It shouldn't, but it will, because
Yeah.
unfortunately, like this generation, everyone is so scarred and insecure because of, well, a lot of guys know what they're like, and this is what I noticed at that dinner actually. A lot of guys know what they're like, and Skills mentioned how he wouldn't trust the guy even if he trusts her. And I feel like because a lot of guys are always waiting on the sidelines for something to happen, they just feel like if it's their wife, like whoever this close friend is just doing the same thing. And because of that insecurity is always there, I feel like that's why they're not comfortable with it at all. And I think most, at least Hausa people anyway, would have this view that just not gonna allow their wives to have male friends. But I personally don't see why it should be such an issue.
I mean, I think it should be the case sometimes because honestly, I feel like every single man's intention is like, yeah, let me just get with her. I don't
Well,
care if
that's not
taken or not.
every single man's.
Not every,
Almost.
obviously.
Let's say 80%.
I mean, it's like
I mean, you can speak
85.
from your own like experiences, obviously, because your experiences will be different. But if I'm talking about like, if I look at my female friends, for example, I know the ones that I even have any intention of doing anything with. It's pretty much always been that way. Like it's not something that just switched all of a sudden. Like,
Mhm.
there's no one
Really?
that I was friends. Yeah, nah, there's no one I was friends with. And like, I met them initially and thought, at least when I initially got to know them, and thought, nah, I'm not really interested in her at all. And then all of a sudden, I just switch. I'm like, nah, I really like this girl. Like, it's not really happened that way. Like, I kind of know from the beginning if there's a chance that I might catch feelings or I might be interested or I might be attracted to her before I even go anywhere.
What would you do in that situation then?
Which one?
I mean, you're saying that you initially know beforehand. So what if you got with someone else and you're still friends with that girl that you initially had an attraction with?
Mm-hmm.
Would you
I
still
mean,
continue friendship with her whilst being in a
oh, I
relationship?
see what you mean. Oh, that's a
That's a
tricky
good
one, actually.
question.
That's
That's
actually
a
a
good
tricky one.
question. Yeah.
So well, I trust myself not to cheat. I feel like the chances of me cheating are pretty like non-existent, honestly. So I would break up with my girlfriend if I cheat. So I don't really feel. I'm being honest, like I would. So I don't really feel like it's an issue. But I would say if my girlfriend is uncomfortable with that, I would keep my distance from whoever that friend is because I don't
Would you
think we'll be
disclose that to her that you do have feelings for this, you did have feelings for this other girl?
feelings or attraction. What are we talking about?
Attraction, okay.
If she asked, because it's happened
Said
before
he
in the past.
asking me to know.
Like honestly, like someone had asked me that. Like, well, the girl, like she asked me, there was someone else. I'm like, oh, are you attracted to her? I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, like, yeah, but it didn't work out in it. So, like,
Mhm.
nothing is gonna happen there. So I could see she was a bit like uncomfortable about the whole thing. So I was just like, okay.
But
So
why
I
is
like,
sorry, don't sorry, cut you off, but my thing is, why do people like to pretend like as if, like even for me, like if I'm in a relationship, I know she's going to see somebody else and she'll be like, oh, this guy is like, he looks really buff. Like there always going to be people buffer and penga. Cause like, tell me why I'm in a relationship this one time, and then she's like, "Oh, who's number one person in the world you'd want to get with?" And I'm like, Zendaya, and then now she's upset, and I'm like, "Why the fuck you thought it was gonna be you?" Like, I'm just saying, like, so
no,
let's
but she's
be
gonna be
realistic.
upset though. And honestly, I've been in that not the exact same situation, but like
Nah,
she
this
asked
skills
me
guy
like
has no
ideal
filter at
like
all. No
I mean, it's
filter.
good being straightforward, though. I think
It's
it's
facts, bro.
my
a
thing is why
rare
ask?
trait that
Why ask
people
if there's
have.
I
already
don't
nothing
think
else
I
to
don't
do?
think it's good to be straightforward always. Sometimes you have to be sensible in certain
It's not about
situations
sensible. It's
People
rather
about
than
like that
just
hiding
being
actually
shit.
speak
Nah,
from
straightforward
the
and
heart
just
rather than trying to beat around the
gotta
bush.
put
And
it
I
all
think
on the
it's
table.
Yeah.
I
Facts.
don't believe like everything you say. I don't believe it's everything you say personally. Like it's not always like being right is not always the best thing in every situation.
That's true too. I
Being
learned that the hard
Personally,
way, but yeah, that's true.
you can't always run to be right. Sometimes you just have to save your relationship ahead of being right.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships slash friendships as well. I don't think you
Mm-hmm.
must always be right.
But you know
Because
what, though?
if we always want to be right and everything, we
Uh-huh.
might as well not have friends because like
So yeah, he's right
No,
on
but
that
you
one,
know what, though? And
unfortunately.
you're right. You're right. But here's my thing, though. There's a line to being truthful and like being yourself. So in that
I'm
situation
being
where she's
stupid
like,
too.
no, yeah, and facts. But in that situation where she was like, oh, like who's the one person in the world? And I was like,
Yeah,
Zendaya.
because it's a
Honestly,
stupid question. Like
yeah,
it's
that's a
definitely a
stupid
stupid
question. And honestly, when I say Zendaya, even though it's facts, I was expecting her to laugh, and then we both
yeah.
laughed.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
That's how I
Because
knew
he
that.
was a
Okay, this is not
celebrity anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
no.
it's funny because I've been in the exact same shit. No, well, not the exact same shit, but like if I'm dating you, you're a Christian,
She
and you
had dead
ask me,
banter. Whoever
yeah,
that was.
exactly. You
She
ask me
had
what
dead
my ideal
banter.
partner is. If you're a Christian, you ask me what my ideal partner is. Obviously, my ideal partner is gonna be Muslim. Like I think that's like a given.
so
So
like,
if you
come
get
on,
upset that I
bro.
said that because you know you're Christian, I'm like, but why are you upset though? Like you ask me, like don't
She
ask
was
me the
upset
fucking
she not
question.
Zendaya. That's what.
Like, yeah, people just get hurt unnecessarily, and I feel like Nagina said, it's because they don't have a sense of humor, bro. If they had a sense of humor,
Because
they'd
that's
just
not
laugh.
realistic if you think about it.
Exactly, it's not realistic like Zendaya. You're gonna get with Zendaya. Like, skills, no offense, but you have no chance, bro.
You never know,
No,
but it
well,
still is not
here's the thing,
realistic.
though. Yeah, I mean, it's not realistic, but you never know. Like, if I saw her walking on the street, yeah, man shooting a shot. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
Shit,
saying.
I like to be with Georgia Smith, but that ain't possible either, bro.
I wait. Here's the
Alright.
thing, though. Before we wrap up the thing, I want to add one more on the one thing, right? Because being realistic, in most relationships, there's always a misbalance, anyways. So, like, one person usually loves the other person more. So that soulmate thing, that soulmate's the one feeling. It doesn't like it barely ever goes both ways. Like
Not
if
realistic, bro. That's not
yeah,
realistic.
yeah. So if somebody is like my one, okay, this is the one for me. They probably don't see me the same way. Like so, like
I mean, they could,
doubt.
because you can't really measure love like in strict terms. But like you
True.
said, in most instances, one definitely like loves one more than the other, but you just can't measure it. So from their perspective, they both love each other in it. So that's it.
All right. Yeah. Let's just wrap up the thing then. Any final thoughts?
Oh, actually, real quick, I just saw this now. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. So apparently the court just ruled. So Johnny Depp is getting paid 15 million in damages.
Yes.
I just saw that now. Like, and that shit been going on for so long. I'm
It's
like,
so
yo,
interesting.
I haven't been following the story, so I don't even know
yeah, exactly. So
what's
I don't
been
really.
going on.
I just saw it. I just thought it was interesting that finally this whole shit is over, and a man got settlement against a woman.
He
Let me.
deserved it though,
What's her name?
honestly.
Amber. What?
Amber Heard.
Let me Google her. Oh, she's kind of
Oh, you
pitchy.
don't. Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
No
wrap up the
offense,
show.
but she
What,
looks
what,
like a
what did
narcissist.
skills just say?
Allow skills, bro. Allow skills.
Nah, I'm just fucking around. Y'all are always ready to jump at me, fam. Shit, relax. Fucking hell.
I think they cancelled you this episode.
They
I
cancelled
I
get
think-
cancelled every
He
episode, to be honest. Like,
skills every episode.
every-
All right, Rose. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Don't go looking for the one. Rather find someone that you guys can both build with and grow together. Then man, do whatever makes you happy, I beg you. Like do what makes you happy, I beg. The end of the day, the homeboys on the Parrotside podcast are not going to be there when you guys are doing the things, So
I want, but I'm gonna talk my shit though.
All right, again, final thoughts.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think just go with whatever you believe in, and I think don't let someone else influence your decision. So if you want to go for something, like for example, if you want to go for a prenup, go for it. If you think someone is the one for you and you truly believe it, go for it. Take those risks. At the end of the day, you only learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
All right, skills.
No, you go first.
I mean, to
You
be
want
fair,
the clout at the end, innit?
I don't even know if I have anything to add to what we've been saying. These guys attacked me for saying you can love more than one person, which I found mad. Because it definitely happens.
You
And
can, yeah,
like
it
I
happens.
said,
I've seen it.
I definitely like before this thing happened, I looked this shit up, and there's a lot of women that openly admitted to loving their ex more than their current husband, but they still said they were happy. So that's just
Yeah,
that.
that's
Just to
wild.
clarify, because you guys attack me for that. But yeah, like Nagina said, man, do you like whatever makes you happy? Prenups, if you want to do a prenup. If you don't want to do a prenup, that's up to you. And the one, yeah, that should have
let
fantasy
me
girl.
let me add
Just seek
something.
legal
Please.
advice though before you do anything.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Kamal is a lawyer, so can send you his number. Anyways, I want to touch on something Nagina said that in reality, a lot of decisions that we make are kind of affected by the people around us. Let's be honest, because a lot of times we don't just make decisions by ourselves. Like the fact that we consider, certain people, what they might say and all of that, I think that kind of influences like the decisions we make to an extent. But then at the end of the day, we're still the ones making the decisions. So
I think you're talking from an
big,
emotional prospect.
Bro,
Okay.
she called you a bitch,
no,
bro.
I mean that in
Yo.
general. I mean that in general, honestly.
No, I mean, if
Because
you're taking into account someone's feelings, that is definitely you're thinking from an emotional perspective.
no,
But
no, I'm not
if you
even
think
talking about feelings
practically,
here. I'm not even
I mean,
talking about feelings here. I'm talking
okay,
about like advice,
I
like
see.
straight up advice. How like people advise you and tell you stuff that you should do, stuff that you shouldn't do, and all, and how that affects like certain decisions that we make. Let's say like you have the choice to buy either like an iPhone or an Android, and someone like let's say Etinosa, who's a Samsung fanatic, he comes and say, "Don't buy iPhone, buy Samsung because of this, because of this, because of this." So like basically he's kind of like deposited some information in your head which might to an extent like affect your decision. So he's like, oh, the S22 has like a better camera, or the
Manipulation.
interface is user friendly and all of that. So I feel like to an extent, like the advice that we get, it kind of has a way in affecting the decisions that we make.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Skills.
Well, let me round up with this here.
I
I
feel
don't
like he's
necessarily
gonna say
agree with
some
Rose.
controversial shit now.
I don't. Yeah, I am. You know me. I don't necessarily agree with Rose. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
What people think is not really my business. I'm here on this pod every day challenging societal norms and society. So at the end of the day, do what you want. It's your life. You can't let other people tell you what the fuck to do. And when things happen, it's you that faces it. So make your own decisions. That's it. So in
It's not
conclusion,
even that controversial. I feel like.
so in,
Agreed.
yeah, so in
100%.
conclusion, thanks. In conclusion, fuck the system, fuck society. Uh
Yeah,
on
fuck you
the
all. Sorry, I
yeah,
just
fuck
had to
everybody.
get
Nah,
that
it's
in.
facts. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Fuck everything, fuck society, fuck people, and
You are your own one.
you are your own one. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Don't do shit because society told you to. That makes no sense. All right,
Don't
cool.
do
So
drugs,
we
Bro,
kids.
you know, it's what's funny. People already think like I'm against romantic relationships or whatnot. Like after that last episode of the whole kids and spouse thing, they're like, "Oh, this guy just doesn't love people or he doesn't love romantic." But like when they hear you niggas talk, I'm like, how am I the one being attacked in this podcast for for not being a fan of romance or anything like that? Skills is like hater number one.
no, I love romance. I'm just saying do it with the right person and don't pretend.
I can vibe with that. I can
Your
vibe with
ex
that.
won't
Ah,
agree.
yeah,
He
nah, she
hates
can
he
get the
hates his
fuck
ex.
out.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. I just fully come on here and call my ex out for no reason. But hey, it's all good. This has been your boys on the Parrotside podcast.
And
Actually,
girl.
Nagina.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, feel free to come back anytime. We're just
Probably
here.
gonna
We hanging out.
disturb you again in the future to come back.
Yeah, please, definitely. Also do us one favor, please. Tell the listeners, don't send us any fucking feedback.
Guys, don't send us feedback. We don't give a fuck. They don't give
What
a
the
fuck. No
fuck?
one cares. So, yeah, no haters either.
Max, you heard us say it. Thanks for tuning in. Catch us on the next one, man.
Hey, peace out,
Peace.
guys.
Bye.
Rose, greet them.
Nah, I'm cutting it out even if he does. Fuck this nigga.